So hello, today I'll show you how to create a file with our plugin to simultaneously KissCut and ThroughCut. For example, to produce a sheet of stickers using the Secabo Blade X2. We're going to create a new file for this purpose. I'll simply choose the A3 format for now. However, it could also be a 60 centimeter wide film, whether it's A4 format or perhaps even wider than that. For the time being, that particular detail is not of any real consequence. I'm currently in the process of generating the necessary file. And the very first thing I'll be doing is to open up the specific Saga standard plugin for our current project. And I'll just quickly take you through this right now. We'll jump over here by clicking on the double circles, and that will lead us to the settings. Let's just quickly run through this one more time. Our goal is to work with a total of 4 marks so that we can ensure there is one mark placed precisely at each and every corner of the paper. I want the barcode, the QR code, to be visible both at the top and at the bottom. So I'm also clicking here on diagonal QR code. I would like to place the QR code relatively far towards the edge. I'll position it 2 millimeters from the x-axis and 2 millimeters in the y-axis direction, and a size of 10 millimeters is perfectly sufficient for me right here on paper. For other types of media, for example, DTF printing, you can certainly make it larger, but in this specific case, with black toner applied to the surface, when it comes to white sticker paper, 10 millimeters will be quite sufficient. That's all there is to it. I'm going to generate the necessary tokens and the QR code for myself right now. And you can see here the sheet was immediately covered with the marks and the QR code. And here in the layers, I see that a cut and a crease layer and a few auxiliary layers were created. I'm not so interested in the auxiliary layers. Cut and crease is important. We'll get to that in just a moment. We're now going to first select layer 1 again, and then we'll drag an example logo onto our workspace here. In this particular instance, it's a Secabo logo in PDF format. I'd like to distribute this logo several times across the page now. And the final result should be that it's printed onto sticker paper. Around the logo, a contour is precisely cut using the KissCut method, and the entire sheet is then cut into 2 separate segments. This means that as a final product, I receive a sheet that has a specific number of stickers on it, which I can then easily apply as a logo. In the very first step, I am going to create a cutting contour for this. I'll click right here on the outline symbol, and then I'll choose a 5 millimeter outline contour. This is the very first step that we need to take. So I can already see that automatically in layer 1, there are still absolutely no changes to be found, as was the case before. And then in the dedicated cut layer, we have that specific part which would automatically be placed and inserted into this particular layer. The cut layer is, essentially the designated layer. Everything that is placed or contained within this particular section as a component part will then be processed and utilized by tool number 1 of the entire device. For the next step, I want to distribute this across the page. I'll select the Super Toolbox. I'm going to the Step and Repeat option. What I'd like to do now in this particular case is 2 times 6 to distribute these logos across the entire page. For the spacing, we've set it to 10 so that we have a bit of a gap between each of the logos. We then click on Generate. And now we have successfully filled the entire page with all of these logos. And we can now clearly see here all of the cutting paths for the very first tool in the cut layer. And in layer 1, we still have the graphics that are going to be printed I'm going to go ahead and select the crease layer at this point because for our next step, I would like to address tool number 2, which is primarily used for the purpose of cutting right through. First, I'll select a rectangle here, encompassing the entire graphic. I'll go to the stroke. Again, I can already see that I've selected a dash line, 100 points, 1 point apart, and so on, so that I don't completely cut through the whole thing later. This way, while it's still in the plotter, it will remain somewhat connected, and I can then easily separate it afterwards. I'm going to draw another dividing line in here now to separate this into 2 distinct sections once again. And so then I'm also already done with everything for the time being. I'm currently occupied with the layout design process. And in the very next step, what I'm going to be doing is taking a PLT file. I'll output them. I'm going to save them right here in this specific folder. The demo is finished. And as the very last step, I export the print file. This is where this, with the name plugin demo. And with that, I'm finished with the process of creating a file that will be used to print a sticker sheet, to print with several logos, a cutting contour to create the logo, which is cut using the KissCut method, and around the outside, I will cut through, and when cutting through, a few remain. Small connecting tabs are left in place so that I can easily remove the sticker at a later point in time. All graphics that are intended for printing are located in layer 1. All graphics that are meant to be die cut are placed here in the crease layer. And all graphics that are to be KissCut are found here in the cut layer,